What up, everybody? I know this is a different outcome or a different start of the night, but I'm here tonight to represent for Gina. She's not feeling that well tonight, but you know what? We're going to step in. We're going to make it happen, regardless of the fact. I am your host tonight. I am Rod Cali, just here to, represent for you guys as much as I can. Tonight, we also have, our normal host, Shell. What's going on, Shell? How you doing? I can't hear you. You on mute. Just to let you know. You on mute. Just to let you know. I can't.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. I was about to say it's been one of them nights,
yeah,
but we gonna
tell
make
me
it
about
happen.
it.
We're gonna make it happen.
Doing a great job. We're here for you, Gina. Hope you feel better. We got this.
Exactly. On top of that, we got to bring in our boy, the man behind it all, Adam. What's going on, Adam? Come on, bring yourself on in here, Adam. I know you're around, man. What's up?
I am. What's going on, folks?
Man, good, man. Just doing good, making it happen. How was everybody's week?
Good. Relaxing, busy, relaxing, homework and work and photography, and got us a little bit of a victory. Yes. How about you? How's your week?
Week has been busy. Week has been work, but it's work. It's life. It is what it is. We gotta do what we gotta do. How's your week been, Al?
Yes.
My weekend went very fast. I am paying attention a little bit to this game tonight. I need Godart, whatever the hell his name is, to do nothing. And I will be on a 5-game winning streak in fantasy, and I was 0-5, so I'll be 5-5 and back in the talk of maybe making it to the next land.
All right.
That's what's up.
I do have Jalen Hurts in another league tonight, so
who are you going for, the Eagles or the Commandos?
I'm going for my fantasy team. I really
there you go.
don't have a preference tonight. Sometimes you just gotta live in that world.
I feel y'all. What's going on, Melissa? What's going on, Throwback? Everybody who's in here right now, what's up to y'all, man? Really appreciate y'all going in here. Hey, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. Helps out the algorithm on here and everything. Please comment, subscribe as much as you can if you want that good Niner content coming on and everything. We definitely appreciate y'all for y'all support and then some. This is definitely a dominant Niners page ran by Gina, because that's what we always gonna represent on here. We're always gonna represent the Niners, bang bang Niner gang all day.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the week? How did you feel about last night's game?
It was sluggish at first, but I like how I picked up. I like how they did work as a team. I did like that. I don't like how we have to come back in the second half and be the hero. I know, it's kind of cliche, but I think that it's kind of like I hate to sound like this, but it's like the start of something good at the second half of the season, if that makes any kind of sense. But I did like what I saw overall. I think they meshed very well. I would have liked to have seen a few more people get a few more touches, but it was great to see Elijah back. He looked like he never left. He looked like he never got injured. Like, facts. So
from the first game he was out to this game, and you would have never thought, like you said, you would have never thought that he missed a game. And I was just like,
right.
I was
Right.
definitely shocked by how he was running. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he
Same.
definitely ran with the purpose last night. Like he ran with the like
Yes.
he had a mission. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Somebody who looked a
What?
little, I don't know, lethargic, so to speak, in the game.
Yeah.
I think
Just
Christian
a little.
McCaffrey kind
Just
of
a
looked.
little.
Yeah,
real
Christian kind
quick,
of he
real
looked a little
quick
off.
on this topic right now.
Yo,
Did did anyone else notice that McCaffrey looked a little bit angry standing on the sidelines? He crossed his arms.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Just a
was looking
little
like,
temper
why?
tantrum. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. I
And all
he
noticed
of a
that.
sudden, do you have too many weapons to play with?
he was he was.
He was a
It's
little in his feelings, yeah, for sure.
well, not only he's in his feelings, but when you are the number one man, you know what I'm saying? You're a top five back, and then you are basically
Waiting your turn.
backing up. You're backing up a person that is a starter normally. And so for
Mhm.
him, that's an adjustment. You can definitely tell that that was something that he's not used to. But hey, it's not like it can't be done. It was just the mere fact of how it looked to him. And I can tell he was like, okay, the game is close. Why am I on the sideline? And why are y'all still running with Elijah? But Elijah had it going on. He had it
He
rolling.
sure the hell did. He sure the hell did.
So how
Say it
can you
again.
really be mad at Elijah and what he was doing? Just like Melissa said, look at how he was running. Come on, man. You got to keep feeding the beast. As long as he can
Mhm.
he continues to run like that, we're looking very good. Now, what you need to change is how you run Christian, because you can't run him up in between those guards and those tackles and everything. That's just buffoonery, in my opinion. You need to continue on doing what we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Run him outside.
Right.
I
Elijah
just
likes
thought
running the middle.
That's
that just caught me off guard. I was like, did they not tell him that another number one running back is also on this team?
Right, right.
right. For
Now,
real.
now
Exactly.
you got to restart everything up, and now you got to be the starter. Like you have to prove yourself all over again. Instead of it being, you
Exactly.
know what, we are 1-2 punch. That can be something like, I'm not going that far, so just listen to me, people. But it's kind of like the USC, when we had Reggie Bush and Lindell White. That was, thunder and lightning in the back. So if you can run it that type of way or in that type of style, we got a lot of
Like
things that.
Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott.
Dang, I forgot he went to Florida State. You went way back on me with that. Charlie Ward was the quarterback,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
I
Mhm.
believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
Believe
yeah,
so.
yeah. See, I kind of went back. Man, he gave up football just to go to play basketball. But anyway, you know, a lot of things, went the way that it did for us. I think that the squad, the way that we played, we looked like we were a team that came off the bye week. It was nothing that
Facts.
looked like, the first half, we looked
Right.
sluggish. We looked like
Yes.
we were trying to start the engine,
Yes.
but just didn't know how to
It
start
just
it.
was not start. Yeah. Because
How did it look
Herbert
to
was
you?
on the move. And from the moment they took the ball from kickoff to that first touchdown in 3 minutes, yeah, they was on the move.
Wise, what's up, man? What's going on, brother? Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel
Right.
like the Jimmy G throw to Ray McLeod on the sideline. That throw, to me, that's arguably one of Jimmy G's greatest throws I've ever seen him throw.
S- Preach. I was thinking the exact
Like,
same thing.
like I really need
Shit,
to
the
understand.
one to Kittle was good too. I'm not even gonna cap. Like that, the one to Kittle was I mean, it was just the spark that they needed when they needed it.
Right.
Because like you said, they were super sluggish and then they just I mean, we weren't but the nice part about this sluggish was there weren't any turnovers. There weren't any I mean, he did get sacked a couple times, but it wasn't for once it wasn't terrible. And he made a lot of good throws that he actually was looking down the field. He actually was looking at his defenders. He actually was scanning to look where his receivers were. So I was like, I'm not mad. But again, you're in that pocket. Here comes Khalil Mack.
He was
Well,
all
Here
over him
comes that
last
play.
night. He
Here
was
well,
comes
we
that
all
brand new
over him last
year.
night.
we also got to
You
remember
know what I'm
Khalil Mack
saying?
had McGlinchey on him. You know what I'm saying? McGlinchey
Right.
he
He
can't
can't really
guard.
do much, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He can't guard nothing. He can't guard shit. I don't know why we don't have a replacement for him, or why they don't put Brunskill in there to
Right.
swap with him or something like that. I don't get it. I don't know what it is. But let me ask you a question. Why do you think that like Debo only had like 2 receptions for the whole game?
I think they wanted to see what Elijah's extent is and could be going down the stretch. I know it's only one game after the bye week, and we haven't seen him for like 9 games prior to that. So it was, I guess, just watching him play. It, like I said, it looked like he never got injured. It looked like he had never been out, like he had never missed a snap. Um, I That's the only thing that I could think of as to why, because you have all these hands. Why wouldn't you spread it around? You know, spread the wealth around. Excuse me, I got tongue tied. But that's the only thing I could think of it, because I actually wanted to see Elijah go hard, because he really was running. He was running.
I
What?
seriously think this game plan was put together for a heavy run offense to keep Eckler off the field.
Right.
I agree.
Thanks.
I agree. But then you got to look at it too. We only had, not only, we ran 40 times though in the game. So it's not like we were,
Right.
content with trying to give the ball to Jimmy G and put it in his hands to throw the ball. The game was still like it was still up in the air for us.
Right.
We just ran the ball that much more better, and it was moving for us. And I think
Yes.
that's when everything started to click for us. It was like, okay, we're
Right.
finally getting
I
something
agree.
going, finally getting something moving. Ayuk had the big fumble. Now he got rocked on that, the safety hit him coming through the middle. I mean, as soon as he spun, he got turned on the tackle. I mean, he got rocked. But I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the game. I know that,
What did you guys think of the ejection?
garbage.
Bullshit. Whole bullshit.
I mean,
Garbage.
it was helmet to
He's not a
helmet,
he's
or you think they're going to make quarterback slides in on purpose?
No,
I don't think
because
so either.
they'll find a way to get around that too. Because look at how quarterbacks are sliding now. They're sliding literally at the last very second. So looking at it and thinking that, they'll just get out of this and then they'll keep on moving. They'll figure out a way. Now, if we get a game where we're sitting up here worried about if a man gets kicked out of the game like that, we can't have this come playoff time at all. We can't have this because this is terrible. But
Herbert did get bounced around before the hit. I was having trouble making out if Herbert was going down and putting his head down, and if what was his name? Guy got ejected.
Oh,
Greenlaw.
Yeah, if he would have maybe looked, maybe he could have moved his helmet, but it still would have been a shoulder to the head.
But you also got to remember too, though, Jimmy Ward was right there.
And that's what I mean. Like he was getting hit. Like he got hit by 3 different people.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 But the reason
if you're
why they called that targeting was because he had his head down instead of hitting with his head up.
And think about this too, where Greenlaw probably was going to hit before Jimmy Ward hit him, might have been in his chest. Now, once he gets hit, he gets that first hit, it moved him a little lower. He gets rocked in his head. His helmet gets spun around. Then they call helmet to helmet. Do I think it's a penalty? Yes, I give him that. But does it deserve to be kicked out? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Who?
I
even the guy in the league guy said that. Who was that? I don't know. They said that it was definitely targeting from the office already.
Right. It's a bang bang play. You know, everything is moving extremely fast within the game, so it's really no telling. Um, but I think even with having, like you were saying, you know, Shell, even with having, yeah, look at Melissa talk about she would have come on. I mean, I don't care. You know what I mean? Don't matter to me. But I think the biggest thing with me in the situation is that how can you sit up there and call that a penalty, but then you guys
A
don't think,
personal foul.
yeah, like
A
why
whole
is
ass
that?
personal foul, right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
you know what I'm saying? Like
But
this is a
like I said, like if you're a runner, that's not a personal foul. He's not standing there. Like the fuck, he was a runner. That means you're subject to getting tackled. Period. Period. There was no helmet to helmet at all. That was whole pad to pad. There
yeah.
was no helmet to. He didn't lower his head or shoulder. He didn't do any of that. It was
I,
not intentional.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Not sorry. I mean,
I definitely agree with that. It's not my call, Melissa. I mean, I wouldn't care if you got on. Don't matter to me. But you can just ask your question through the chat. That's fine too. You know, let's do it. I feel like when you look at Debo and what he did last night, I think he was a little tentative because of him coming off the hamstring.
I agree.
First week back,
I definitely agree.
obviously getting prepared and getting back into the swing of things. You got to remember he hasn't played in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? He didn't play in the Rams game, and he didn't play in the Rams game, and he didn't play. Well, obviously we had a bye week last week, so he had the last 2 weeks off. So now for him to get back into it and slowly get back into the regimen of being that quote unquote number one receiver again. I don't know. Receiving to me looks like he's not a true receiver. Running routes and doing all that, that's not Debo. He is a star who just needs the ball in his hands and he'll make stuff happen in space. But as far as going out looking for him to run, uh, uh, a hook or something like that, nobody is terrified of Debo running a route. Let's just be real about that. The route runner, you know what I'm saying? The route runner is Brandon Ayuk. You know what I'm saying? Brandon can get open versus anybody in a period. So it's just like how can outside of running the ball, how can Kyle design more plays to get Debo more than 2 receptions? That's a question. That's not a statement. That's more of a question. How do you think that could happen?
Exactly. Yeah. Got a lot of wealth to spread around. That's for sure.
I mean, but you got the wealth, but I mean, like, what other than running the ball, how can you get Debo the ball other than two times on 2 passes?
Some of that throws by Jimmy last night looked awful.
Yeah. But we don't do jet sweeps anymore with him. So, all we do is screens that are just now he's throwing screens over Debo's head.
He's 10-2 when he throws 0 touchdowns?
Like
how good is this run game?
It's the worst stat I ever heard in my life. Like, how can you make that happen? You know what I'm saying?
Rod, seriously, how good is this run game? And you saw Mostert and Wilson this weekend blow up in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I mean, Mike McDaniel knew what he was doing when he traded for both of them.
Facts.
I mean,
just keeping it real.
I mean, imagine if all 4 of them were sitting there.
Good luck. Is all I'm
this
say.
plays. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That was just my thought. Oh, we lost Rod. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm here.
There.
I just had to look at something. But no, I just had to make sure, like, when you look at, because we got not Debo, we got Kyle Shanahan, the genius, back there as our guru and everything like that. How can we sit up there and get
Hold on,
Debo?
Melissa, check your inbox.
Huh?
I sent Melissa a link, and I don't know if she got it or not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sending it on top of the YouTube link. Everyone would be here.
Right. I hope she does. You know, if she's still in here, she can get this and come on in or whatever, do what's needed. But I just feel like in a lot of ways, like the team and how we move and how we run things, I just really want to know like what is the philosophy outside of when things don't go your way in the running game, what are you gonna do? What makes Kyle Shanahan the guy or the man, you know, behind it all? Like, what makes him the genius? Like, I really need to see what makes him the genius out of all of this, because right now it's scary. It's scary. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right, because I'm like, Jimmy played as well as we expect him to.
How well is
He
that?
did throw some. Exactly.
How well is that?
He did what he had to do to win this game.
But what's
He
what's
played to win the game.
And that's my question.
I mean,
played.
Yins can laugh at him all Yins want. I know he's not your favorite quarterback, but you know he is your quarterback, and he's playing to win the game. I mean, obviously, that's everyone's goal.
Correct.
I mean, my Steelers played a quarterback this weekend they've owned, and Andy Dalton is now 3-14 against the Steelers. I don't know if anyone knew that, but that's why a lot of us aren't too excited about it.
Oh man, that's stupid.
Did Jimmy play a little better yesterday than weeks prior? Not really.
I really think they wanted to work this run game. That's what it really looked like all night. That's what it looked like.
I think we played okay. For Jimmy to get better, I'm sorry, Jimmy is still a backup, and until you can tell me otherwise, behind that, I don't see Jimmy doing anything more than what he has been doing, which is enough, so to speak. It hasn't been a whole lot. It hasn't been something that I've been like, been worried about or whatever the case may be. But Jimmy has done literally enough to keep us in the game.
That's a fact.
I don't know what more you want. Go on.
I mean, it's not. I hate to compare one game to the other, but I'm sorry. Buffalo and Minnesota was just one of those. Ah, damn. You got Kirk Cousins talking about you like that. I'll take that. Because they playing like whole fucking dogs right now. Okay? Whole dogs. We just playing like cute. Lupa. Oh, so cute. So cute. It's not enough. I know. It's not enough.
I think we got saved. I think we got saved.
The one thing he didn't do yesterday that Kirk Cousins did was throw an INT. Period.
We are bringing Melissa in right now.
Come on, Melissa.
Oh, come on.
The hoodie.
Hi.
The hoodie gangster.
The hoodie
gangster.
gang.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it now. All
Let's
right.
go.
Now, Melissa.
Finally get to see her.
Hi.
So that's the face behind her.
Exactly. I see her on other pages, but now we get to speak with her. So how you doing tonight,
I
ma'am?
just want to go, how do you really feel? Now I can ask her and talk to her. Yeah.
Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Give me your honest opinion about last night's game. Go.
I was happy, but more than that, I was pissed off, and I literally had to hide my face in my poodle's chest not to scream and wake up the entire neighborhood. Because I was so livid when Drake Greenlaw got ejected. I literally wanted to bitch slap all of New Jersey because they're not Niner fans and they weren't in pain like I was.
I'm in Atlanta, so I know how you feel. Trust me, I know. We're both on the East Coast, sitting over here like this can't be happening. I know how it feels.
I find it so hard to
You
watch
know the worst
any
part
game.
was it wasn't just that they penalized him and ejected him. It was that when he was being ejected, like walked off the field, when they came back and tried to explain how New York called and made the call, they kept saying that it was a malicious hit, that he lowered his helmet purposely into him, that he was purposely targeting Justin Herbert. And what really like made me like nearly had to like bite my lip off was that they said that they would have called it the same way for any other non-quarterback runner.
Right.
Like they would have done that for anybody else besides Justin Herbert, who is a fantasy darling. It was just so blatantly obvious why they were doing it, and it was just so pathetic that they kept doubling, tripling, quadrupling down, and they would just not let it go that they made it a bad call.
Right.
Juju Smith-Schuster got like rocked yesterday.
He sure
That
did.
should have been a penalty, and they didn't call that one. But then they
No,
called
they
the one
didn't.
on Dre Greenlaw, and he gets kicked out, and that's targeting. And I'm like, how?
Did y'all notice how petty it was though? 30 seconds before the half. Did y'all notice that? I'm just asking for a friend.
Oh, it was absolutely petty. Like they did not like that game was close at all. You could kind of see that they were even more pissed off that Chase Daniels were like forced to come in for that like series, not just for like that one play, but like the rest of the series. Like it was okay to screw over the Niners, but it wasn't okay to have your quarterback checked out after what happened to him. It was like everything that could possibly like, and you know what's bad when Niner fans have the non-Nick Bosa bullshit choke holding calls not be the thing that pisses you off most about what's being called or not called on our defense.
Right.
Like that's how bad it is. That's like the one thing unifying all of us right now is like we know why it's called, but it has us all angry in our nerve feels right now.
Yeah. Ishi, what's up, girl? How you doing? But let me ask you this, Melissa. What?
Mm-hmm.
How can we get Debo the ball more than twice in the passing game?
I think that this is actually a good thing because we were using him too much at the beginning of the year. If you really think about it, right at the beginning of the year, we were using Ray McLeod, Deebo Samuel, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Kyle Juszczyk, and that was like the 5 things that we would do. And then once in a while, they would sprinkle it out to Brandon or George, maybe Jawanning. They try to force Charlie Warner. They had Ross Dwelly when Trey Lance went down and he had that touchdown. But it was really just those 5. So for me, the very fact that they're even breaking out of that bad habit, it's impressive more than a detriment to me, at least.
But why is it so predictable now that once we see Debo go in the backfield, we already know what's going to happen?
Because we know that they're not going to go to him as a receiver now. Like those calls are not going to Brandon. They're going to go to Kyle Juszczyk. They'll go to Ray McLeod. They'll go to George. They'll go to Jawan because Jawan always comes up big on third down. Like those kind of situations, it's become flagrant. Like who's going to get what kind of call?
Right.
Like
That's right.
with short yardage now, like
Didn't
it
they run
pisses me
Debo in the
off.
backfield though and run it with Eli?
Huh?
Didn't they run
say that
Debo in
again?
the backfield and run it with Mitchell up the middle?
No, it was either Christian McCaffrey or Elijah Mitchell yesterday.
No, they had Debo in the backfield, and I thought they ran it with Mitchell up the middle on one of those plays, and he got like 8 yards.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe
He
on
did.
a one play, but I mean it was a couple.
one play. Yeah.
But what
I mean-
really pisses me off is that you have all these weapons, and for some reason, when you need like yard or 2 to either get into the end zone or to get the first down, so that way you can have 4 more tries at the end zone, you keep going to Kyle Juszczyk. He doesn't have that burst. He doesn't have that thing where he can get all over 2 offensive lines and get those hard inches that you need for those kind of plays. So The very fact they went to him and then they called the timeout, but you saw him going into motion before they called that timeout. Like it makes no sense to me that
Right.
Kyle Juszczyk is your go-to guy in the red zone right
Yep.
now.
Yep. I agree.
When he's not a red zone guy. Like period.
I thought Juan Jennings had a couple big catches in the red zone too last night.
Yes, he did.
He did. He actually stepped up. He showed up this game. Everybody wants, to give him praise for this game. And I'm like, woo, one game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why everybody is just like,
you like, what have you done? Rod is like, what have you done for me lately?
Like, it's one game. Like, you're the third receiver.
Yeah, it's
you
not
finally
enough.
showed
Right.
up. Woo, wow. You finally got
when
that.
when that's your job, right? Like you should have been showing up. Like you should have been,
See,
ain't it
you
an
and I are
8 to 5
different
job?
because
Like,
you're like the half of the fan base that thinks he's like stone hands, that he isn't showing up, that he doesn't really do anything. Me, I was glad that they finally went back to him because it was just it was bullshit. Because the one overthrow that everyone gave him crap for, I think it was like either week 2 or week 3, it was a hospital rule. And it was like the fan base was going to punish him because he didn't want to go and kill himself by making himself hyperextended and putting himself in a position of getting his knees blown out the way that George Kittle did. Or that Debo or Ayuk have to, where they contort their bodies into like pretzels trying to drag down the ball. And they're not like the tallest guys in the world. So even when the tall guys get overthrown, like people expect everyone to make up for Jimmy's throws. And I think what really pissed off a lot of the fan base is not his stone hands or his lack of catching ability, but it was the fact that he didn't do what everybody else does, which is put his life on the line for one of Jimmy's errant throws.
At the end of the day, this is a business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Do you make that type of business decision in the air to go get that ball that Jimmy overthrew you by 2 feet, maybe at best, that you got to go up and get? And it's like anything that I see, this is the thing that I get frustrated about. Now, what goes on the outside of the field, I don't know. Don't really matter. We know what goes on the inside. This year, Jennings has underperformed a little this year. I agree with that part. But let's not make it seem like we have better coming behind him right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have somebody who can come in and who is chasing Jennings down to be that third back, that third receiver. Nobody's counting on Gray right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's counting. Who else is our receivers on our team? Like, I don't even know who they are. Oh, Ray. How many times did Ray get in the game without fumbling?
Not
you know
very
what I'm
many.
saying? So
it's almost like saying how many days in office have we gone without it, or have we gone without an office injury? You know what I'm saying?
The ocean boards when you
I
walk into
understand
some
he's
places.
like taking a step back this year, and he's not getting as many calls, and the ones he has haven't been the pretty ones so far. Like it's been sloppy and inconsistent, so I give you that. But what always bothers me about it is that we'll roast Juwan Jennings or the third or fourth stringers more than we will the elite stars. So people don't give Debo near enough blame for all his drops.
Totally
agree. And that fumble by Ayuk yesterday, when he had that big grab and then he did not secure the ball at all, and it turned the ball over where it did, and then him dropping that easy touchdown. It's just those kind of things, like, it really irritates me. Like, if you want to go at everybody, they're going to go at everybody. But I don't like the nitpicking that certain people who cover our sport do.
Right.
And they'll, like, make excuses for their favorite players, but the people who they hate, they'll go at hard. And they'll go at the fans of those people, and they will blast you with all the venom and vigor that they have in their bodies.
Why is it that you can't go after the stars? Like, why is it that they're immune?
Yeah, why are they immune to that?
You know what I'm saying? Brandon Ayuk misses. Brandon Ayuk fumbled, and like you just said, Melissa, he fumbled and he missed a touchdown. And it was, it's okay. You know, he still had a good game. Wait, this man missed on 2 costly possessions. Those were
I think it's
one of them was in the end zone.
Right.
Does anyone think Josh Allen caught slack?
I think part of it. I think part of it though is that they are so
maybe
they are so desperate for first rounders to count on this roster.
What was that?
I think part of it is they're so desperate for first rounders to count on this roster. Because that has not been our strong suit at all.
Traded up. We traded up to get Brandon Ayuk in the first round.
I know that, but
you know what
it's
just
it's a statistical fact. Because think about it: Reuben Foster, Solomon Thomas, McGlinchey. We all are like counting the seconds till we don't have to say that name anymore.
Bingo.
You got Nick Bosa, but Nick Bosa is like the anomaly.
Right.
Okay, you got Javon Kinlaw, who cannot stay healthy. And I'm not saying he's not talented, but he literally cannot stay healthy.
He just can't stay healthy. It is what it is.
You got Brandon. You got Brandon, and then you got Trey Lance, who has had 2 bad years so far because of injuries. So it's like
here's a question real quick that Gina put up earlier for us, I guess. Why can't we run the ball on 3rd down? Ball into the end zone on 3rd downs.
Depends on where the yardage is. Depends on where the ball is at that time. Because I mean, all runs on 3rd down.
And it depends on the play call.
Needed. Yeah.
Because if you're doing a handoff, and the defender comes at your ass, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Better question, why are we even getting to 3rd down in the end zone? The red zone. Why are we at 3rd down? It should be 1st and goal, touchdown.
Because we couldn't find Khalil Mack.
Well, it doesn't help. Like in yesterday's game, you had that what was it? That one series that you had the Jimmy overthrow, which is over everybody's heads. Which I actually was kind of grateful that he didn't put in harm's way.
Thank you. Me too. I swear I was thinking the same thing.
Like I literally saw it go over people's heads. Finally, please, just someone don't touch this ball. Let it just go into the stands. Right. And I got like the biggest kick. Like Jerry Rice caught it and he threw it back onto the field.
Yeah.
But what's funny is even though that a fan catches the ball, i.e. Jerry Rice catches the ball, I still get nervous because I was like, oh shit, somebody got it, but it wasn't us. So I was like, okay.
You know what? I wouldn't even add if Jerry Rice.
And then when they try to like overcorrect, so like
be mad.
They always seem to overcorrect too. So it's like they go either run or pass on the first try. When that doesn't work, they go to the opposite. Then you always put yourself in these hard situations for 3rd down. And for some reason, he just always calls you these stupid calls that are like straight down inside, and you put him either in danger of getting blown up because Brendel can't handle his shit, or McGlinchey gets blown on the outside. So you always seem to run them on the right side, and it's just like those 3 guys. And I'm not taking shots at Brunskill or even Burford, because I think the 2 guys around him, whoever's in there, are making it so much more difficult for them.
I agree.
But I think it's so stupid the way that they don't just like throw them when you have Banks and Silverback, who are 2 huge beasts who've been monsters. If you're gonna run it in those situations, why don't you do it towards the left, not the right?
Right, exactly.
We have a massive upset possibly right now.
Yep, 23-14, but it is halfway through the 3rd, so they got time. Come on, Eagles, do your job. Because all the teams that I picked yesterday crapped out on me, and I'm pissed.
I don't know. I kind of want Brian Robinson to win. I mean, it's just like a breath of fresh air to see this guy just rock out after him getting shot and surviving what he did and coming back and everything. So I think Philly's been feeling themselves a little too much.
Figured Goddard would have the freaking touchdown.
Come on, Adam. You gotta say that you were relieved when you lost to the football team, because your Steelers were like uber feeling themselves on that like 11-game winning streak. And y'all needed that like little tiny reality check to like bring you down a little bit, so you were like, okay, these are our
Not the
issues that we've
reality
been
check.
glossing over with winning, and this is what we have to address.
But Gina, when you say his seat is warm, and you don't right now his seat. I keep telling people his seat is not warm. It's lukewarm. It's being
I don't even think
prepared.
it's that.
It's being prepared right now. But he still has all next year. You know, it all depends on what he does next year with Trey. And until then, that is always his trump card. He can keep in his back pocket. If this doesn't work, and for a lot of Jimmy lovers, this better work, because if it doesn't work, then you guys will go down in the shitstorm with him also. So it is what it is. But you know, he has until next year. Then after next year, good luck. It's no telling what. Next year on, our teams will look different just about every year. I think. I could be wrong, but I think that way. D'Amico won't be there next year. So who's going to be our defensive coordinator? What kind of defense will we run next year? Who will be on the defense? Jimmy Ward probably won't be there next year. It's a lot of things that you got going into next year that, granted, this year's not over with. We're not worried about that. But until we look at that contract, he's got a little bit of time left. Unless
it also doesn't help you have 30 plus people on 1-year deals right now.
I love it.
It does not help that you have like double a starting roster of 1-year deals right now.
I think it's all going to depend on how you know, Rod. We're saying next season. I think it's going to depend on how this season ends, the regular season, deadass. Because the remaining teams are either 3, 4, and that's pretty much it. The only one that we really have to be concerned with would be the Dolphins right now. Keyword right now. But the other teams that are 3 and 4 better, you know, of course, as time goes on, they could have better records, but they're winnable teams. They're winnable games, is my point. We can easily go 12 and 5. We can.
I agree with Throwback here on that comment.
We could. Also, the facts, whole facts.
Well, we've been knowing about that.
It's not breaking news.
Yeah,
that's necessarily.
Fernando, we've all been begging for like a turnstile at right tackle or something, like either flat out bench him or at least alleviate him, because supposedly now he has an arm injury and he can't anchor the way he wants to, or some other thing that's being leaked out there, because that's the reason why he can't get in there and fight the way he's supposed to fight on run downs now. So like, if he is injured, or you just want to give him the excuse to make up for his bad play, like, you're already still punishing Burford for giving up that one big play to Aaron Donald week 4. Why not do the same thing at right tackle?
I was about to say the same thing.
Why leave that entire side of the offensive line? And you know Brundle is screwing up with the lining out of formation penalties and all this pre-snap penalties that he's been getting, not to mention that he sucks flat out. But I don't understand why you would leave such a liability when Jimmy is so limited already. Like, it's like you're waiting and crossing your fingers that someone doesn't get killed because of them.
Can you put Brunskill
holding our breath based on how they play
at right guard?
I mean, Brunskill was playing for McGlinchey in 2019 when both him and Staley were out after the Browns game. Remember that?
I remember, and I'm like, so
School was in for Staley, and then Brunskill was in for McGlinchey.
He can't be any worse than McGlinchey right now.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind even if Brunskill was used sometimes as the right tackle or the right guard, and then Colt McKivitz would come in as either like the right tackle or the right guard, and then you use Burford maybe for right tackle or right guard. You got Jason Poe, you got Donovan West, you have all these other people even on your practice squad. It is just, it baffles me that everyone tells me that the essential part of a Shanahan offense is that you need a center. You need a competent center to call out protections, to anchor, to be that linchpin in the middle of the line. It's like Kyle refuses to actually either get a true center or to train up one.
Do you think that? That um what's the center? Man, I just went dead my head just a minute ago. What's our center's name?
Jake Brendel.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I went straight just blank. Okay, we all know that Jake Brendel was in there for Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Mac was for Jimmy G. Mac being gone now, he has to take over and do things with Brendel. Do you think that is an issue?
I think that's a lot of an issue, but I also think it's an issue that you still have Kyle Juszczyk calling out the different protections based on what he sees on defense. It's like they're so afraid to limit or to move on from Kyle Juszczyk or to cut down on any of his responsibilities that it's pigeonholing the offense into not growing. So when most people were scared for 4 new spots being on our offensive line, because we all knew it was Silverback and we had no idea what was going to be the other 4, I was excited because I was like, finally, we're going to build a young line that's going to be Trey's guys, and they're all going to be there for years to come. Like, that was my hope. And it kind of forcibly feels like they're going back to all the old guard again.
I got you. I feel you. I think the biggest needs in the draft this year have to be center. It has to be the line. It has to be the line on both ends, on both sides. Because coming next year, we got to take care of both. Like, you have to take a defensive tackle, or you got to get that line squared away. Period, point blank. Now, we do know that we do, get these guys prepared, and we coach them up good. I.e., look at Banks. Banks is Silverback part 2 right now. Like, the left side is untouchable right now. You don't even have to worry about the left side. His front side is the part that you have to worry about, and that's the issue.
And the worst part is that's the side you're running to, the worst side.
They love running to the right.
I don't understand that.
I noticed that last night,
why
too.
would you ever run to your weak side? And then you wonder why your offense is so stagnant and you have so many 3 and outs because of it.
I need to pay attention to the next time in the game if Kittles goes to the right side over there with McGlinchey and tries to help him out on the run. Because I didn't pay attention to that yesterday at all. I didn't even look to think, like, was he on that side or was he on the left side most of the game? I didn't pay attention.
He does both.
Okay.
He does both. Sometimes they spell Charlie Warner on one side, and then sometimes they put Kittle on the other side. It depends on what package they're in.
Yeah.
What irritates me, though, is that it's just... It feels like they have to wait till the leaders come in at halftime to just get out of their funk and adjust.
Right.
Like, they knew the screen game was an issue against the Rams. And then it took Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and a few others to be like, we can't let this keep bothering us. And then they locked it down. And they did the same thing to, like, this game. They were all pissed off about what happened to Drake Greenlaw. And they were like, coming out of half, we're going to shut things down. It's just... It's like last year. You remember how we couldn't score in the first half? Like, if we scored even, like, 3 points before it was halftime, we were all like, we have a chance, because at least we have some kind of points. It's just these penalties and these silly calls and these silly people who get to have the shot on the field, the ones that get punished for something and aren't allowed to grow, and then the other ones who are allowed to go out there and do whatever they want and screw up no matter how many times you scratch your head about. It's mind boggling, and you never know who's at fault. Because Kyle says it's on his position coaches, but then the position coaches, if it was really up to Anthony Lynn, Anthony Lynn loves Jordan Mason. So why isn't Jordan Mason getting any kind of touches when you had running backs out for how many weeks?
Good one. Bingo. Why'd you get rid of,
Bingo.
Hefe? What was the point? Now look at what he's doing. But I understand. You get a 5th round out of it. I get all that. But I wouldn't have gave him up. Not if I want to win. I wouldn't have gave him up.
You okay, Adam?
No, Devontae Smith just scored.
Yep. 23-21.
I have him on my
Commandos.
bench, so
Mm.
I sat Devontae Smith for Ayuk.
So I have a question for you. You've been a Niner fan for a really long time, right?
Mhm.
So what have you ever seen the ownership be so friendly with the head coach?
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely
That
not.
scares me to death. I think that
Same.
ever since they've gone out and they vacation in the off season, when they vacation in the bye weeks with their wives mingling, when their wives have house parties together and they're drinking and they're celebrating holidays together. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like it's near Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett. It's like this little cutesy
And like what happened to
family
that?
thing.
Right.
It's not gonna headbutt each other. You're not gonna question each other. You're not gonna say
No.
anything bad about each other. You're gonna cover
No.
for each other. And it's just like this little non-threatening. Nobody's scared for their position. No one has that fire under their butts because
Right.
everything's just
Right.
a little too nice when it comes to off the field stuff.
I agree.
So that's what I was gonna talk about, because like you go back to DeBartolo and Coach Walsh. That was the
Mhm.
perfect yin and yang. Because Walsh walked in there like, fuck, I'm up. But him and DeBartolo would just be like, what? Rah, rah. And it translated onto the field in the greatest way possible.
Kind of
The
like
best
Jerry
way
Jones
possible.
and Jimmy Johnson. That was
Right
not
up
a
there.
good combo either, but
I
it
was about
worked
to
in
say
the
they
end.
hated each other though.
No,
Them
but see,
dudes
they were
hated each other.
more
Huge difference.
hanging. They were more besties, they were more frenemies, but
But
DeBartolo and Walsh
I
were
genuinely seem
whole
to
ass
think
like
that the
when it
greatest
came to
partnerships,
football, they were enemies. Like whole ass enemies.
they don't have to exactly hate each other or dislike each other or butt heads, but they have to have that I feel so
You can't
safe
be
with you.
friends.
I don't have a fear for my job.
No.
Where's the
No.
business portion of it?
Where's the business? Exactly. That's where
Like,
Bartolo
okay,
came in,
it's
and
cool
that's
finding
where
Danny
Coach
that we
Walsh came in.
here and you're
No cap.
around me, but you're not getting the job done. So what are you gonna do? Where is that conversation happening? Where is that person that honestly needs to be like my
That's
shirt and
what
be
I want
savage
to
as
know.
fuck and let him know, like, yo, look here, motherfucker. Hey, this is what
and
you
the
need to
sad
do,
part
Danny.
is you got John Lynch, who's like one of the nicest people in the world, and there have been moves and things that he says that make me a head scratch, but you could kind of see he's the guy that's pretty much paid all the dollars to smooth everything out and be the fall guy for all the team upper issues. But if it wasn't for a John Lynch, right, then you wouldn't have all these big trades that have helped out your roster recently. Like Trent Williams, I don't care how much he wanted to be here. I don't care how much they were like growing tired of everyone being annexed off by Trent Williams saying he wouldn't go there. If it wasn't John Lynch making nice with the Snyders, that trade would have never gone through. Because Kyle had way too much fun going at Dan Snyder about what happened to his father. And like, if you didn't have that kind of like really well respected, well groomed, well Super Bowl like nice guy, I don't think things like that would have gone through.
Do you feel going to the Super Bowl set the bar way too high for a beginning coach?
No.
I think so.
I mean, I'm
I
No,
still
think
not when
what
watching
the
it.
not when
I
you
I
have
watch
the
it
think
in
talent.
Pittsburgh every year,
I
and
think if
we have declined every year.
I think if
Mm.
Like,
any
hold on,
bar was set
Melissa,
Well,
too
hold
to
on,
high,
be
hold on,
fair,
hold on, Melissa. Like, okay, Mike Tomlin goes for the regular season,
mhm,
okay, but Mike Tomlin's record in the playoffs is 8-9. He's not even above 500 in the playoffs, and he's been in the league. He's been coaching for 15 years here now, and everyone wants to compare him to Tomlin. I
mhm.
mean Cower, and Cower was 12-9 after 15. So the only way he catches them is if the Steelers win the Super Bowl.
I was just gonna compare it to
I
Matt
was wondering
LaFleur.
where this was going.
I was gonna compare it to more like Matt LaFleur. They all kind of became head coaches around the same time as each other, and I think what really didn't help was Matt LaFleur went 13-3, 13-4, 13-13, 13-13, and they were always either the first seed or they were just right there. I think what didn't help was that they never could win in the playoffs. I think those kind of moves, especially when you don't have that strong-willed owner that can really push back because they have a CFO, are what cripple a franchise with a young head coach right off the bat, in my opinion.
I was just wondering if the bar got set too high, and you guys always talk about
oh
playoffs
yeah,
and all that other stuff, and I was just wondering, like, there's got to be a little bit of decline because most head coaches do not walk in and go straight to the Super Bowl.
Us old cats.
well, go
I,
ahead, Rock. Go ahead.
I was about to say, us old cats, we got to be real with this thing too. Like, because a bunch of us know it's been since the 94, season. This is 20 something years we haven't won. So it's like for these new, I'll
Mhm.
say the younger crowd that's in here now,
Right,
how dare y'all talk about something that you don't even know about? You never even seen winning.
right,
So
right.
how do you understand what rings are about? Like this right here, for us old ones like me in our 40s that are like, hey, I would like to see another championship. Granted, I've seen
Yes,
5 of them, but
yes.
it's just a mere
Three.
fact. Like,
I
come
saw
on,
five
man.
too. Right,
We're impatient because it's just, time is on our side. The young ones, they
right.
just, hey, this is a team that my grandfather or my dad cheered for, so they told us it was good. Right now, to them, it's just an irrelevant. We're just a relevant team that
We're just
sounds
an
good
irrelevant
and
team, but
live
they
off the
don't know
old
the
school.
and
Yeah,
right. They don't understand the history the way we do. They didn't see the arguments between, Coach and DeBartolo and, shit, Seifert and
I thought
DeBartolo for
looking at
that
that Super
matter.
Bowl
You know what
thing
I'm
you
saying? I
guys
mean,
had.
these battles go back, many, many, many years. We've been
they
spitting,
didn't they didn't see
we've
the
been hollering
arguments
Quest for
of
Six since 2012. That's a fact.
they didn't see the
Quest for Six for
arguments
the
of
last 11 years.
they didn't see
Period.
the arguments of Joe Montana and Steve Young, how they didn't get along.
Talk about
Like
it.
people don't know
Talk
that
about it.
behind closed doors that they
Yes.
didn't get along. So when the kids see people like Tim Rattay as the quarterback and stuff, how do
They don't know
you
nothing
how do
about
you
the
yeah, you don't
Rodeo
know
week.
greatness. You don't know
So did you
greatness
guys all run
anymore.
out and get your goat fuel yesterday?
Absolutely not.
Like Jerry Rice
Absolutely
had.
not.
Absolutely not. Never drank it once in my life. I will never drink it now. And I will continue to stay what I am because I'm not drinking that gasoline crap.
Not the gasoline. Okay, you know what? He said, I said what I said. I said what I said. What?
Hey, I'm just saying, everything ain't meant to be drunk. That's all I'm gonna say.
Period.
so
Period.
so I know we're coming up on the hour. What did anyone else catch why the clock didn't run all the way to the 2-minute warning before they punted last night? When they could have let it run down to the 2-minute warning?
I didn't see that.
I didn't say that.
Wait, you talking about
I,
towards the end of the game last night?
Yeah. At the end of the game.
quite honestly, I've shut that kind of stuff
Yeah, I was about to say I
out
don't
ever
remember.
since like the Rams game and like the Broncos game where they went so blatantly 10, 15 seconds after it went 0-0 on the play clock. Like to cut down on my aggravation levels, I literally stopped paying attention to that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I was just curious because I was like, well, they could take this all the way down to 2-minute warning. The Chargers could have the ball in between like 155, 150 instead of having another timeout with the 2-minute warning. That ball that was punted should have been a touchback. They should have never got that ball on the one. His feet were moving. He never planted his feet whenever he caught that ball.
Wait,
So an actual call went our way.
wait, you're siding with Collinsworth that saying, "Oh, Womack shouldn't have gotten it on the 1 yard down because his feet
because his
rocked
feet
back."
were never plant. His feet were never plant. They were moving the whole time.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was this.
I'm just having fun talking to you, Adam, so I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but I couldn't disagree with you more.
I'm just
That's
saying,
why I
like,
didn't say a word on that part at all. I was like,
hey, I was just saying a call went our way. Hey, that's all I was saying.
We're agreeing with you. We're just not going to give up the details while we're agreeing with you.
I think you were better off just saying I plead the fifth.
Exactly, and that's a
I
good
was just
statement to
asking,
you.
I'm
We can-
allowed that.
You know what we
It's
should have
an
said? You should have
overreaction,
said right? You could have just said we can neither confirm nor deny. Perfect political response.
I would have just waited for one of you guys. I could have waited
Oh,
just for one of you
shit.
ladies to respond because I was just going to sit here quietly like.
I have
But,
no idea what you're talking about.
I know
Funny
nothing.
interception
I know
to
nothing.
end the game. Well, that was nice to watch.
Oh
I
shit!
felt like I was
know
watching a
nothing.
guy's
Oh.
jersey that's right in the back corner of my right there.
Let me
Both of them actually.
I was supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, but I just remember because Gina just put it up here. I was supposed to apologize because I made a statement about Jimmy G not being him and Kittles getting into like their issue or whatever, and they're actually they're actually still close, like a lot more closer than I thought. And I found that out listening to Grant, and he was talking about it, and he was saying after, I think it was like the it was after the Chiefs game, right after Kittles got finished talking, Jimmy G was standing right there waiting for him, and they hugged each other after. And I thought that they were on bad terms by just the way that they were conversing throughout the offseason, but hey, they're still best buddies.
There was like a little bit of a disconnect, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I think that Jimmy he's not close to anybody. You have too much evidence of him just ghosting everybody during the season, after the season, whenever he doesn't physically by contract have to be there or show up or talk to someone.
It's business.
He's just checked out.
It's business.
Like, that was one of the most like appalling things I ever had to hear when George said on the podium. I texted him throughout the week saying, we can think with this, we can think with that. What do you think about tweaking this or tweaking that? And he goes, did you not get my text? And he goes, no, I got your text. And just silence. Even when it was about business, it was just ghosted. And so between that and between Trey being announced as the starter, and Trey actually, hanging out with Ross Dwelly and McGlinchey and George and going to Giants games and Warrior games, and they all went to the Silverback premiere together. That kind of a connection I thought was more genuine. So it made sense that they hadn't talked and they had like that one random run-in in Vegas. But at the same time, to this day, no matter how ugly it was and all the fans are still traumatized by it, George Kittle won't say one bad thing about Brian Hoyer to this day. So this is just who he is in his bones. He doesn't ever turn on his quarterbacks.
I agree. He's a real teammate. He's one of those guys that no matter what you've done to him, he will still have your back through it all. Now,
and to this day, he'll still give credit to like everybody that was there when he was younger. Like, so for like 5 straight years, it was Pierre Garcon taught me how to go
Sell it.
dark and to turn it off and to just go into that violent place, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And now it's Garrett Selleck that he's giving props to. It's just everything about him screams leadership in like those non-obvious ways that I think it goes really underrated that he's just a nice guy who loves football, who loves his teammates, and is not going to trash anyone unless he absolutely has to.
I agree. I agree with that. Do you think or not? Do you think who do you think is the person that gets in people's faces when need be? Is that Fred Warner or is that Trent?
I'm gonna
Or
say
is it
Fred.
somebody else?
I think this offseason, Jimmy Ward kind of forced himself as that dude. You know, when he was going at Ayuk, and then Fred Warner kind of like was like, I'm going to be that middle guy. I'm going to give him the tough love. I'm going to give him a hard time and try to teach him and say, well, this is what I see that's you're doing wrong, and this is how you can improve. So he became that kind of, you're not going to fuck with my defense guy,
Right,
but
right.
I'm still going to help you the way that he wants to help you with that tough love thing. I think we haven't had those kind of like really in your face guys since Joe Staley. And I think Joe Staley had it in a nicer way because he had the respect of being the long-year, tenured Niner. So he went through all those ups and downs before the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl, after the Super Bowl. And them asking him flat out when they first came here, we're like, Joe, we love you. Please say, we know you might be wanting to retire, but just give us a chance.
Yeah.
And when Navarro left and everyone else that was part of that last little legacy was gone, Joe stayed. So I think that held a lot of weight. But then you also have guys that are quieter about it. Like you didn't really hear about Nick Bosa having the speeches until some coach said that he made speeches. You know that he was helping out Javon Kinlaw with diet issues and trying to exercise more and get more flexibility and not to have so much knee issues until someone said it this offseason. Like, we don't have the guy that like it's obvious, but we have a bunch of guys that do stuff that's behind the scenes.
I
And
agree.
you wouldn't catch it if it wasn't like a dropped thing in a presser or a mic'd up or some other thing that people just pick up randomly at games.
I think a person who could be that one that gets in people's faces and talks, I think it might be Jimmy Ward. I think
Yeah,
Jimmy Ward is one
and
of
you
those.
kind of saw it a little bit with Trent Williams. Now, like it's backed up a lot because you know when he first came here in 2020, it was him coming off cancer, and you know he was trying to endear himself to the franchise and
Right.
prove what the trade wasn't going to be like a regretted thing. So you
Right.
kind of saw him bumping heads with every offensive lineman, every defensive lineman. He would say it's on us, and
Yeah.
then he talked to the defensive line and be like, this is what I see their offensive line doing. This is what you can do to help out and to get past that. And he would take like Lincoln and Mike Lynch on the side, and he'd be like, dude, this is what you're doing good. This is what you're doing bad. This is what you can do to improve. And I think between him staying here, getting injured, and just something has made him kind of slightly backed off. Now, I don't know if it's because he's offended that he's been giving this offer to go with him to Texas and work with him in his private facility in the off
Oh,
season, and
okay.
no one's taking him up on his offer. And that kind of like is one of those things that like even when you are a strong personality, it kind of gets it to you. Like, why am I being dissed when I'm offering to room, board, and train with these guys? And it was only this year that two guys and like two really low down guys on the roster, one being the undrafted Jason Poe and Spencer Burford,
Perfect.
taking him up on his
Mm-hmm.
offer
Yep.
for things to start could pick up for Trent and to be like, okay, I got these guys who believe in me. I have to show up and show out and be a leader again because these guys are looking up to me and they're trying to emulate themselves after me.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic this year. I still I think by this time last year we kind of knew what team we kind of had. I
Yeah.
still don't know what kind of team we have right now. Like we're still getting pieces. We're still trying to figure out what our offense is gonna do. And oh, the genius Kyle has so many weapons. We're
See,
still putting
the
up the
the
same
team I
points.
know we have this year is a no to quit team because they don't
Yeah,
quit until the bell whistles out.
Well,
I
And I
once
agree.
think
again,
that
once again, real quick, this was another week where it was let's do a lot of trial and error with Mitchell coming back. Debo even came back for the first time
That's what
with
I was saying
McCaffrey.
before. Right.
Um,
Jawan who came back.
right. So there's a lot more weapons that came back. So now you have to try and figure it all together whenever you were just trying to get the run game going.
Mhm.
And now maybe teams are going to be focused on the run game, and this might open up, quick slants, or maybe Jimmy will get that deep ball going.
But nobody can guard Jennings. He's
But
getting
that
open.
offensive line, like you said earlier, Rod, who's going to be that guy that jumps in these offensive linemen is the fucking block? Who's
Yes.
going to be that guy?
But the
I mean,
the,
is it going to be
the
Lynn?
scary part
Who's
is
gonna be
these
that leader?
Is it
Right.
going to could it be Lynn who's trying to protect his running backs from not getting killed every play?
I think the
I'm just
scary
saying,
part
like he is the running back coach, and like it just seems like no one's stepping up and watching this offensive line just fall apart.
I think the
Because like
scary part
Melissa said, yeah, because like Melissa said, everyone wants to be friends. You can't be
yeah.
friends in this fucking league. You have
No,
to start
you have to
choking
keep each
people the
other
fuck out.
accountable. Like
Period.
I, I,
Yeah.
I don't I don't miss Salah's soft zone defense. I literally hated it with a passion. But the one thing I could count on Salah is he would keep it real and he would check Kyle no matter what. And he had no problems going to a presser and embarrassing Kyle by saying, I don't even know what the update is on my defensive player's injuries. You'd have to go ask coach about it. And like everything from like
look at
the
this
little
jet.
disses to the him hyping up the players on offense and defense. It was everything that Salah did was the perfect counterpart to what Kyle is. Kyle's like that little friendly guy on the sidelines. Yeah, Shell?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I just had my hand up, so go ahead. I'll let you run. Go
I
ahead.
thought you were answering a question. We are like, let's go.
Me. No, go ahead.
I don't know. It's just I think what really irritates me the most is that you have all these weapons, right? And you can clearly see that Brandon gets open. You can see George gets open. Jawan gets open. These guys are running perfect routes. There's nobody around them. It just, I don't know if it's by design. I don't know if it's by Kyle, like in his ear telling him, don't you dare go away from what I told you to do. Or if it's just Jimmy trying to get the ball out and not looking over the field. But just something always seems to be holding back this offense.
Go ahead, Joe.
I bet you I know what it is.
Hold on, Rod.
Yeah, me. No.
Where's your little Giants hat?
You're right. It goes back to Melissa's point, and she made a great point about being friends. You can't be friends with your players. You can't be friends with people on the sideline. You have to be that fucking leader. That, like I said, if that means I don't want to say figuratively, literally choking somebody out, but get in their fucking ass. If accountability and responsibility are key for you, you need to show that shit. You can't be, oh, let's be friends, let's go hug it out. No, you fight it out in the parking lot. Then you hug it out. Then you get your shit together. Then you get this team together. Period. Go ahead, Rod.
I kind of disagree with that. The only reason why is because
Aww.
I'm gonna tell you why. No, I'm gonna tell you because
No,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
one. I'm not one. You can, as a ex athlete, I'll say it this way: as a player, you can talk to me, you can coach me all you want, but as soon as you talk down to me or belittle me in front of people, we gonna have it out. That's how
Right.
I
No,
look.
not that. I'm just
Now,
saying, just getting, talk to that person and say, hey,
Wait.
like you said, like
So
if you're fucking up, talk to them and not call them out, but point it out. Show them, you know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, you're this.
So,
No.
so
But like,
if
hey, you did this,
hold
you
on.
did that, you know?
If I'm hearing you correctly, Shell, what you're saying is you don't have to be a Bruce Arians. You don't have to go out, say all the stuff that's on your temper, and then have to retrace it back when you see it on tape that you were wrong. You don't have to be a Bill Belichick and just treat everyone like trash. But
Hey,
there's
for
gotta
goodness sake, you
be,
worked for 20
Wait,
years.
here's what I think
You worked
Shell's
for 20
but you
saying.
gotta
years.
Here's what
have
I think
some
Shell
kind
is
of
saying.
happy medium between the two. It's like
I
Here's what I
didn't say
think
I
Shell is
agreed
saying.
with his style.
Here's what I'm picking
I
up,
just
Shell.
said it worked.
You're saying at work, we're gonna fucking work. And when we're not at work, we can do whatever we want. We can hang out, we can go to the basketball game, but at work, if you're not doing your shit right, you're gonna fucking hear it.
Period.
But I
Period.
still say
Do we
this.
not get called out at our jobs, right?
I get called out on my
Period.
job. Everyone does. Everyone should anyway.
There you go. There you go.
Like if I'm doing
We are
something my
not
boss
friends in the
don't like,
workplace, right? It's the
if,
same
if I'm
shit,
doing something my
right?
boss don't like or want done, I'm
but
having a sit down.
that's been
That's
Kyle
right.
since he's been our head coach. It's the doghouse. We don't understand how the doghouse works because anybody else's doghouse would be you screw up, you go in the doghouse, you have to prove your way out. But with Kyle, it's just weird the way certain players are always easily in the doghouse and how some people have to like Dante Pettis, you have to like literally drag him coals through to get to the doghouse because you don't want to look past that he was a second round pick. It's a weird thing that certain people get flybys, some people don't. It's just this weird thing that you don't want to trust rookies, and yet rookies usually were all that was healthy because everybody else was hurt. And then so you were bringing Josh Normans and Drake Kirkpatrick's and other people who were burnt toast that nobody else was looking at. Like even today, you're trying out Jacob Easton and all these receivers I've never even heard of.
Facts. I didn't know who these people were.
I saw a bunch of trash too. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, who?
Go ahead, Shell.
I was just gonna say too, like that doghouse that we have is a whole fucking ass Verbo. It's a whole ass fucking Airbnb. That's a fact. Okay, it's a whole fucking ass. What's that shit called? Atlantis. There I go in the Bahamas. That big ass hotel with the water and the big ass slide. That's our doghouse. Yeah, it's nice.
I want to go
The
there.
other doghouse is underneath the sewer in New York where the Ninja Turtles are, and it's all nasty and shitty, and you stay there until you fucking learn your lesson. Period.
Oh
And
my
you come
Period.
out like a turtle and a half shell, right?
Turtle power. Period.
You got it.
you know what
It's
the
like
crazy part
it's
is?
back.
Like
Hold on,
I don't
Melissa. Hold
understand.
on. It's like back to the point of like not. I'm just gonna bring up like James Cook. Remember he fumbled on his first possession whenever he had his first carry in the NFL. He didn't see the rest of the play for that whole game. But then now all of a sudden he's one of the top backs on that team. So I mean, he climbed his way out. I'm not saying Dalvin's brother wasn't going to
Or
stand in
here's
the
another
house,
example, Rod. Rod, I'll take you back. When Vernon Davis was told to get off the field
Mike
at
Singletary.
Candlestick.
Mike
And look what
Singletary.
happened to him.
Can't
Right?
do it, won't do it.
Can't do it, won't do it. What was his slogan? I
Can't do
want
it, won't.
winners.
Yep.
And this one is
That's what he
we
said.
want winners as long. Look, and see in Shanahan, in my opinion, his slogan is I want winners as long as we can be friends. Can we be friends? Can we make up? Can we go to Starbucks? Pumpkin spice. Yay.
Spice. I wouldn't even know what to order at that
Fuck
place.
out of here.
And I also don't think what helps is that he keeps saying that he wants versatile guys, and then he says flat out to these guys the second they walk in the door, we want you to change your weight. We want you to flip what you've done your entire career and do something else. And it starts off the bat wrong with certain guys. And I think what also doesn't help is that you play hardball with these stupid contracts where you have to lowball you 1, 2, 3, 4 offers, and then around June and July is when you finally get the real offers. And it's just with Debo, with Fred, with George, with Trent, it's a pattern that these players know what's going on, and they've all kind of like leaned on each other. Like, you went through this, tell me what I'm doing wrong and how to handle it. But it feels like it's just like this weird power dynamic that Kyle has way too much power. No one's checking him.
Blame New York's. Because anytime you know that, Melissa, come on. Anytime you have to look up and you go, you know what? You had the opportunity to take care of all this over the summer. Like Debo said, Debo was trying to get his taken care of at the beginning of the off season. Once he finally got his offer, it was like, y'all could have offered this months ago. We could have taken care of this a long time ago.
That's a
Yeah, but
fact. That's
And
a
he
fact.
said it wasn't about money.
it was even like the thing with Trent Williams, though. Like, you saw them at the end of 2020 when he was bowling out after his first year. That he was like, okay, I want to test free agency just because I've never been a free agent before. Remember that?
Yep.
And it was like they were so desperate between November and January and December to make that contract work. And then they made him wait through all that summer bullshit and free agency and the draft because it's like they were in their feels about him saying, oh, I want to test free agency again. Like, it's weird. Like,
Brick
I don't know if
Wallace,
you guys
bro.
like watch former players or coaches, but I live here in Jersey, so I have to deal with all the lunacy that is the Jets franchise. And I
Got
think
to deal with Falcon fans. So
Not the Falcons. No.
and one of the things that kind of impressed me was we all know that Salah has his guys, right? So he has the Ronnie Blairs that you knew that he had a man crush on, and he had a close. He said he had the man crush. That was what he said in the presser.
he did say that. I remember that.
He did say that.
Yeah,
I'm not putting words in his mouth. He actually literally said, I have a man crush on this player. I was like, okay.
Awkward.
But then he had another one of those guys that was with him on the Niners in DJ Reed. And DJ Reed blasted him, his defensive coach that calls the actual plays, and the Jets organization when they were struggling at the beginning of the season. And they didn't put him in the doghouse, and I don't know how they handled it, but somehow they got it back together. And now Sauce Gardner and DJ Reader were like one of the most locked down corner duos in the league right now. And it irritates me that we don't have answers for why all these weird things happen with our organization.
I think it's also we have new coaches. And when we have these new coaches, a lot of things change. You know, you have people like what was it? Wes Welker was the wide receiver coach. And now it's what? Hankerson. So it's like, what type of, system were they running before? You know what I'm saying? Whereas now it's a whole new regime type of, flow. So how do you guys run the game now? It's totally different.
I agree with you too. Because isn't Chris Forster the only one on offense that's the same guy?
Yep.
Coach Embry was gone. Bobby T had left for health reasons. Now I think he's sort of back, but I don't know how he's really back if Anthony Lynn's in charge. Brian Greasy took over for the quarterback.
No offensive coordinator.
Well, Wells Welker went off with Mike McDaniel,
Miami.
so those guys are gone. LaFleur is gone because he went off with Saleh. So it's just, it doesn't feel like there's anyone from Kyle's kind of line that he trusted, or from his father's line that he trusted that can kind of push back against him.
There's a young Kubiak, one of them. I don't know which one it is, but there's a Kubiak there. What is it? You got Kasarik still there. And the linebacking coach.
The LB coach
I'm just curious, real quick. Do you guys feel that Kyle Shanahan is a good coach builder?
What do you mean by builder?
Like all of his assistants have gone on and are being successful right now. Yes. I mean, LaFleur's really having a bad year, but he did beat the Cowboys yesterday, so that kind of makes
I think he's good at finding people who see football the way he does.
I agree.
And he has a natural propensity to to school them up because he wants them to either be on his level so he doesn't have to explain himself or to be friends with them. So it makes things easier. But I think he has a lot of trust issues, which is also part of the reason why his doghouse is so frustrating, because once it seems like you have his trust or you have impressed him, you can do no wrong in his eyes.
Right.
Who does Kyle trust?
Nobody. Let me shut up.
He seems to he
On the
seems to
offense,
trust
on the offense, not defense, because he can care
Are we
about
Ross
talking about
Dwelly.
coaches?
on the offense.
Rod, are you talking about coaches or players?
Ross Dwelly, Kyle Juszczyk,
Player.
Mike McGlinchey, that he for some reason keeps protecting, no matter how bad he is. He always says that Mike had a great game, or he had this one great play that he always points out in a presser. Like, he has like 3 guys, and Ray Ray's sort of turning into that guy, but I just don't think that there's anyone there standing up for these guys.
I think Debo is his boy. I think he's his boy in a way that I think Debo can walk in. I think he can speak his mind, and I think Debo, he will get his answer.
Shoot!
That's
I
about
have
it.
to add
Outside of that,
I have to add Brandon to that list now. It seems like ever since Brandon sat him down, it's like, Kyle, we have to talk and fix this. Brandon has like this blank check now with Kyle Shanahan.
I agree.
So,
you know what's funny that you say that?
Screw ups or whatever, Brandon
I also
seems to
think
have
he's
gotten
the
on
same
his good side.
Yeah, I also think he's that way in a way, a little bit. He's in that way with Jimmy G now. Remember, he hated Jimmy G for years. I think that the maturity level is kicked in enough where it's like, you know what? I got to deal with this dude one more year. Right when Trey went down, if you see the clip, they show Brandon Ayuk's whole body left right with Trey on that stretcher. And you would have thought he looked at it like, man, my season's over also. But then it wasn't over. So that's why it was like, wait a minute now. You're good to go, my man. So stop tripping.
I agree with you, because I think the
I
pick
agree.
8, I think the pick 8 could have been either the make or break point for us. And you remember you had Fred Warner going to the pressers and he says Brock Purdy looks pretty in practice, or he threw a pretty ball.
Mm-hmm.
You had the defense really, really angry that their guy Trey was gone, and they were stuck with Garoppolo again.
Yep.
And you remember at the beginning of the year, they scored maybe 10, 13 points or 17 points as like the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be on the defense to hold things down for the rest of the game and not let opposing offenses either get back in the game or outscore what the offense already did. And it felt like the one good thing that I can give Kyle this year is it seems like he united the 2 sides of the football team back together again.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't break irrevocably. Now, I also think that winning has helped. But I thought you saw some of those kind of cracks show up again. Not so much in the Falcons game, because I think it was one of those weird like losses where you overlook somebody. But when all the guys were rushed back during the Chiefs game, and you had Mooney Ward coming off a groin injury, you had Nick Bosa coming off a groin injury, you had Jimmy Ward with the club on his hand, and if these guys were solely getting all the blame for those like 40-some points being put on them, and they were all playing injured, and they were all struggling, it was just, it was a recipe for disaster. I think
Great.
the thing that helped the most was the very next game was McVay, because there's just something about the McVay and Ramsey and Aaron Donald and LA that just puts this team back together. It's like, as much as we hate and fight each other and we blame each other and we aggravate each other, the Rams are like the great South that fixes everything for a little while.
Totally agree. I totally agree. It's been dope. That's all I can say. This has been dope. I would say this. unless anybody else has anything else to say. This has been a dope night.
I think
Same.
I think you guys could talk sports all night.
I really could.
Right?
This is
I
a
really
treat
could.
for me. Like I feel like I'm always just like yelling at you guys in the comments and like hoping you understand where I'm coming from, and to actually
It's way
just like
different. It
get
is
to like
way
talk with
different.
you and like hear you and like you get
It's
to see my
way
face like
different.
I'm not like this crazy psycho bitch. Helps a
Not
lot.
the crazy. Okay. Good night.
So,
Out of
I
that.
gotta know
Yeah.
real quick: do these Eagles have any timeouts left?
No, and they just fucked up. They just fucked up a play that cost them the game. Heineke was going down. Heineke was going down and took a knee. These fools came down and sacked him. They just got a personal
I'm
foul.
sorry.
The game is over.
My mother is Colombian, so I've been pulling for Riverboat softly because he's like the one Spanish coach in the entire league. But I honestly thought with Dan Snyder and how bad things were that he was a shoo-in to be like the next head coach fired. And now they might be like what 6-5 or 6-4 or some ridiculous thing right now. It's crazy. And they're giving the Eagles maybe their first loss of the year.
Ooh, this is funny.
And it's all Taylor Heineke. Like it's like Carson Wentz is like the death sentence for franchises. As soon as they move on from him, there's like light at the end of the tunnel.
Can you imagine looking at his face this week? Like, he might not be starting, but he's standing over there with his helmet in his hand, just looking over on the other sideline like, y'all ain't undefeated no more. It might not have been me, but
they are now. Yep, they just called it. Minute and a half. They just called it. 26.
Yo, Rod,
21,
did you see
Komet
that
goes to
stupid
final.
thing in that Falcons game? Baker Mayfield storming the field after the game, and he started headbutting all the offensive linemen coming off the field with the
no
cap
helmet
on.
Yeah, yes.
Against their
Yes.
helmets,
Wow.
and they're all like yanking their necks back like they're gonna give themselves
Yeah.
whiplash because they're like, I don't want to be the reason why you're in concussion protocol and I'm gonna get fined. I'm not asking you to headbutt me.
Starving for attention. That's all I look at. That is just starving for attention.
I had to ask you about that because you live in Atlanta, so I figure like that had to be a topic after that game.
Oh yeah. They love it down here. They couldn't wait. So, yeah. Yes. More than ever.
One more thing before we close. Rod, I have to shout you out. You did a great job for Gina. Seriously.
We did. It was a collective effort.
I'll take we. I'll take we. I will take we. But she called you to play host, so I'm just saying you did great. This was awesome. I had a great time.
See, one thing about it, I am always a team player. I know my role in any position I play. So that's why when it comes to me and it's needed, I have no problem stepping in for somebody. I don't try to step on toes. Absolutely. I just try and help out. I'm a team player any day.
That's what we
never
do.
hate.
Never. And that's why we mesh well together.
I just chill and relax.
You guys also have like a natural chemistry where you just play off well with each other. So it's not like you have a random person just taking over and saying, well, we're on this topic for 5 minutes and then move on. It's like you guys like naturally feel like you've known each other for like your whole lives. You like naturally have a rapport that just you either have it or you don't.
Melissa,
just what's special.
I literally stepped in by talking in comments, and then I looked just like you, and then here we are. That's literally how it happened. I didn't do nothing special. I didn't do anything special. No,
I'm not saying like you guys did something special, but I'm saying that you just like guys are yourselves. You're unabashedly yourselves. You play well off each other, and that's what makes it special. That you can't fake that.
I appreciate that. That's one thing you can't fake. Can't fake real when this is just you. I'm just genuinely like this on the timeline, off the timeline. It don't matter. This is just me. I'm just
Rod,
a
I
spoiled
was
fucking
hoping to get
person.
your cousin's reaction to the no Stafford start yesterday.
Trust me, he wanted to come on this show this week and he wanted to talk so bad, but I told
Mm.
him you might want to sit right where your team is at
Is
home
he
and
relieved
enjoy
about
those
what the
L's.
is he relieved about the diagnosis? Because I heard it might be just a high ankle sprain. That they
For
avoided
who?
major damage to
Cooper,
Cup.
I didn't. I thought it was. I
I
didn't
don't
hear
know.
anything about it today.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything either. I don't know. I have no clue.
I just know
But
every fantasy owner's like 2 points. Like he got hurt and he didn't play anymore, and there was a backup
Um,
quarterback.
hey
and I
man,
want to
Anyway,
ask you guys real quick. There's 3 guys who kind of stepped up in defense yesterday because of injuries or coming off injury. I want to get your thoughts real quick on Kerry Hyder, Jordan Willis, and Charles Omenihu because I think
Jordan
each of them
Willis played.
in different respects had huge important games yesterday.
Was it a Minihue? Wait, who you said Hurst?
I said Kerry Hyder, I
Hyder?
said Jordan
Okay.
Willis, and
Jordan
Charles Omenihu.
Okay, I was right. Okay. A Minihue, balling. He is playing like he wants another contract. Like he is on that
Period.
what is his name that played with us? Arden Key. Arden
Mm-hmm.
Key plays. He's playing like in that trajectory right now. I love his game the way he's playing. Um,
And he
Again,
also was the one that tipped the ball that went to Talanoa Hufunga that sealed the game.
still the game at the end. Yes, I love his game. Um, Hyder, he was
Shell, how
good
did the Commanders
2020.
just score?
He was
What?
good 2020.
The Commanders just scored.
Oh, so
The
you're one of those
fumble.
people who counts sacks, and then if they don't get those big flashy plays, you don't really notice what they're doing.
Exactly, like like
Okay.
splash for me. Just show me something. Now I do. He
Yes.
did have a couple of plays last night. He did,
Mm-hmm.
but before last night, honestly, I don't remember him this year. Just being honest, like I
Well,
don't know what he's done this year.
he's either been a spell guy, he's been a little injured, or they were mostly using Sosa and Omenihu. So he didn't get
Yeah,
as much time because it's been either Akeem Spence, Kevin Givens, or Asan Ridgeway since both Kinlaw and Armstead went down. And it's either been
right.
Jackson, Sosa, Nick, and Omenihu. So it hasn't been like a lot of options. But I really love Jordan Willis. I think Jordan Willis has that kind of like spark about him, like Dre Greenlaw, where they light a fire under everybody's asses and they play harder when those kind of players are on the field.
Wasn't it Jordan Willis's like season debut last night? And he had a sack, didn't he? If I'm
I
not
think he had a
mistaken.
sack or half sack with Nick Bosa.
Yeah. I love his engine. I love the way that he moves. He plays all the time like he wants a contract, like he wants to be in this league. He plays like one of those guys. If you gave him a good contract or a big contract, I think he would still continue to play that same way. I think that's just his engine. That's the way he
I also
moves.
like
That's the
that.
way he plays.
I also like that. You know, he was traded to us in 2020 from the Jets.
Yeah.
And it felt like it didn't matter if he was getting to be a guy or just a random guy or he was just a
Yeah.
spell guy. Like
Right.
he's never let that get into his head. He's
I
like,
agree.
if I'm on the field, and he had that big suspension that pissed me off. But then they keep changing the rules about PED things, so you never know if you're the guy who's gonna knock off a test or whatever. But when push came to shove on special teams, because special teams was like the only thing that seemed to be clicking for us in that playoff game, he was the guy who blew up that big hole so Jimmy Ward got free on the field goal block. And then he was the one that tipped it to the ground where Hufanga then found it and ran it in for the touchdown. So in big moments, I think Jordan Willis doesn't get half the credit that he we give other guys because they had the flashier stats.
I agree.
Because Kerry Hatter had that one season where you had the 8.5 sacks. You had
There you go.
Kevin Givens with the flashy numbers. You know, like all these guys have flashy things that you can easily go to PFF or PFT or whatever source you use.
Right.
It's harder to prove that these guys are essential without really being able to articulate it to the people who just go off stats.
I totally agree. I think that's been a big thing with all our squad. I think all of them have produced. Kosaric, he gets the guys going. The guys love playing for him. I don't know what he says, does. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe he should be looked at as a candidate.
I think they don't want to fail him. At the end of the day, whether he's happy-go-lucky, slapping Bosa on his shoulder and saying, well done, he's like shaking him after like he has the critical sack on 3rd and short, and he gets them out and 3 and out, or if he's like cussing them out, or he's just saying like, we gotta grin down, we gotta bear it, and we gotta struggle, and there's so much game left. Whatever side of Kosaric they have, they don't let it phase them, and they don't want to fail him.
Who is Bradley Chris? We fight to the end. Chargers still making the playoffs. We're about to get healthy. And
Bradley Chris is who we were supposed to be going up against. He was coming on for the reaction.
Oh, he's late like his team. Anyway, and y'all have a good week. Y'all have a great week and all that stuff. Been good. This has been a great show.
Yes.
I appreciate you, Sam.
And the fun part of yesterday was
always.
We exercised that Asante Samuel Jr. ghost that's been hanging over all our heads since the 2nd round.
Yeah. Big, huge.
Because like every week it was like, oh, we could have had Asante Samuel Jr. But Aaron Banks has turned into that guy that you needed, that just, aside from one flag, has he had any bad things that happened this year? He hasn't given up a sack. He hasn't gotten Jimmy blown up. He hasn't gotten anyone destroyed. It's just, I don't know. I think I put more value on offensive linemen than I do corners. Because Emmanuel Mosley wasn't even drafted, and he's been our best corner.
I agree.
Hi, Shell.
I gotta go, y'all. So I'm gonna call it. I gotta go.
The same thing.
All right.
We're gonna end it. I had fun, guys. I had fun.
I did
always
too.
have fun doing
Yeah. Good talk. Good talk.
First and foremost, we appreciate you. Thank you for finally getting on here. Truly an honor to, share this stage with you. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate you a lot. Truly appreciate you a lot.
Don't forget, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Everybody hit that thumbs up, like,
and
subscribe.
to the host, Gina, hope you feel better. We did what we could.
Hopefully,
giving us thanks in the comments tonight.
Gina, good luck.
Had a good time.
Feel better, and I hope your Warriors keep winning.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
Go Trojans.
I'm not sure when the next show is from Miss Gina, but I know it'll be later on this week.
Fuck the Bruins.
Yep.
But yeah, all that good stuff. Yes, I am that person.
Night, y'all.
The shirt is real, and we're always there.
Yay. Love the shirts on. All right, we're out.
All right, love you guys.
Bye.